Welcome to Chin-Wag 13. It's good to be with you, and I am enjoying hearing from you. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that these are beneficial to you. So yesterday we started a little church rant, and me being a pastor, I've seen and been through a lot of things, and I'm sure you have as well. And I'm always reminded of some of the Christian comics out there that write comic books. There's one that's the equivalent to The Far Side. And basically, all of his books are based off of him being a retired pastor, or actually, I think he actually quit being a pastor, and draws all of his humor from that, which is really phenomenal material. You know, someone on That's Not My God asked me the other day, she asked me to talk about pastors who are controlling. I think this is a pretty valid topic to talk about. And so I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. Now the pastor, what is the pastor? What is he about? My technical title is Pastor Bob. And so, but you know, Ephesians 4:11, as I pull it up here on my little iPhone here, Ephesians 4:11 says, "It was he who gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, and some to be pastors and teachers." Now, there are arguments out there that the leader of the church should not be the pastor, but rather the apostle. That's not really an argument I want to go down with right now, though it makes for good conversation. You know, the truest form of a pastor that I think of is a person that comes alongside of people that need them. With the boom of churches, with the whole move into the institutional church, I think the role of the pastor has become the role of like CEO or the president of a corporation, because whether a church wants to believe it or not, a church is operating like a business. When you are granted by the government a 501c3 to become a church, a tax-exempt status, then there's things that need to happen in place to function as a church. Now here's the problem. Something that I actually become quite scared of, that I don't ever want to become. It's when the pastor takes on this president of the business mentality and therefore needs to micromanage everybody's lives. Now, I am the type of person sometimes actually to the point where I feel like I'm too hands-off, where I'll ask people how they're doing. I'll give random phone calls. I love sending random notes and emails to the people in our church. I want them to understand that you are not going to get an email from Pastor Bob only on times that he needs to bash you, because quite honestly, I don't bash. I literally send out snail mail or emails to just say, "You're awesome, love having you a part of the church." But then there's the board meetings, and I've served on a church like this, and I know of many churches that function where the board meetings, not even into board meetings really, where the board meetings are, we sit down, we discuss the finances of ministries, and then behind the scenes, this is something you may or may not know, they literally start talking about different people, different families, different couples, different relationships, and how they can put out all these little fires. That's really not the role of the church. That's really not the role of the pastor. I truly believe, and I say this often, that the role of the pastor is to come alongside people that need help, that need advice, that need someone to listen to, and sometimes someone that will just listen and not give a response, but just to listen and be there for them. Now, there's times where people will give the pastor permission to say, "Hey, I need you to be in my life a little more. I need you to hold me accountable." That's fine. I get that, and I love that. Premarital counseling, marital counseling, personal counseling. You know, a pastor right out of Bible college is not a licensed counselor, but we're there to help. We're here to help, listen, and see what's going on. There are times where if a situation is too tough, I will just literally just tell them, "You need professional counseling." So the pastors that are controlling, yes, there are many. There are many that aren't. But I prefer to be the one that is not controlling. Is it biblical for the pastor to be controlling over everybody? Absolutely not. Think of the shepherd. Okay, Jesus said, you know, pastor, shepherd, these sort of things. Think of a shepherd. There's times where the shepherd needs to step in and protect their flock. Absolutely. Okay, now at Radiant Fellowship, there have been times where I will just say it. There have been wackos that come into the church, and we literally do not want them there because they're going to pull the place down. So they're gone now, being a blessing somewhere else. But then there's the times where, what does a shepherd do most of the time? He lets them wander. he lets them just stroll around. He says, here's the big field, wander around, find out what you need to do, do whatever you need to do. And he protects them as well. Protecting doesn't mean controlling their lives. Protecting means keeping them safe from any garbage that wants to come in and affect that flock. So pastoring, it's a very interesting thing. I love it. I love being a pastor. I love telling people, hey, if you need me to talk with you, you need to go out, just call me and say, Pastor Bob, we need to go chat. Your treat, dinner. I love that. I think a pastor needs to keep his hands off of things more, not micromanage people's lives in the church. Let the church be the church, see what happens, see what grows out of it. And, when there's problems that arise between people, they're adults. Let them iron it out. If they really need advice, they'll come to the pastor, but pastors don't need to be controlling. If you're in a situation where you're being controlled, reevaluate, figure out why they're being so controlling. Do you want to be controlled? Some thoughts for you. info@thatsnotmygod.com. Would love to hear from you, or post some comments right below, and we'll talk to you soon.